dad was when we went camping with him and his roommate to Fish Trap Lake. I was a young teenager, and I remember everybody was going out fishing and then bringing back to the campsite. We fried up all the fish we caught and had a good feast. Some of the people were drinking. I didn't like that, but I didn't care. So I was really connecting with my father. So I guess that drinking really didn't bother me. I can't remember how many days we were there, 1 or 2. It was a lot of fun.
I grew up in the 60s. I lived through lead paint, candy cigarettes, squirt guns, and roller skates that strapped onto your shoes. Bus fare was a dime, bubble gum for a penny with a comic in it, and candy bars for 10 cents. Today we have no candy cigarettes. Some kids smoke real cigarettes or vape. There is no lead paint, and there is more toy guns. They also have real guns that hurt people. Bus fare is $2.25. A candy bar is almost $2. Life was sure simpler in the 60s.
My name is Frank. I was a B student in high school. I took my ACT and scored well. I was ready for college and had been accepted at the University of Iowa. I couldn't find my mistakes, so I took a detour. It was the same end, but a different route. I finished my graduation from high school. I went to a mental institution. Either way, I found the same destination. The scenery, though, was different.
I'm going to read for Tony, who isn't here tonight, but who's written with us. And just so you all know, you can wait until the end if you want to clap. So this is Tony's story. When I was 19 and a freshman in college, I had my first date. Her name was Anne, and I got to know her when my dad and I used to visit her parents on Sunday afternoons. They lived in a spacious, ramshackle old house on top of a hill overlooking Cincinnati, Ohio. I took Annie to a Pink Panther film called A Shot in the Dark, which featured Peter Sellers as a bumbling detective named Inspector Clouseau. He spoke with a funny French accent you could cut with a knife and got himself into all kinds of trouble. The film included one scene in a nudist colony. I was so scared of what Annie thought of me that I never went on another date with her. However, as things turned out, our paths crossed again 3 years later when she and I got a scholarship to study in Paris.
Growing up, my bedroom was my refuge, my safe place. I was up in my bedroom on the second floor as much as I was able. I could play my trumpet, read, and listen to the radio. It was where I could shake off the tensions of the day and take the emotions bottled up and feel them by playing my trumpet. I could let my mind flow with the music. 6th grade was a tough year. I was the first to develop breasts, and all I wanted to do was hide them. One day, while practicing the trumpet, I was sitting on my bed, the music standing in front of me, engrossed in the music playing, when one of my brother's friends crept into the room and sat on the bed next to me. I ignored him and continued playing. Slowly, he reached out and put his hands underneath my t-shirt and started to squeeze my breasts. My mind would break. I froze. I sat there, unable to move. Finally, my mom called upstairs asking why I wasn't playing. He jumped away, and I started to play like nothing happened. Next thing I heard was a voice outside my open bedroom window calling, "Slut, slut, slut."
The day I entered St. Cloud Children's Home, I was confused. I was in emotional pain, and I had developed a long-standing history of aggressive behaviors. The constant raging, the melodramatic suicide attempts that led to my hospitalization. I didn't want to be there. I didn't have any friends, at least not anybody my own age. So there I was, my prospects for a normal life dashed. I raged. I became confrontational and delusional.
I would routinely run away with nothing on but my swimming trunks, convinced I could run to Rochester to meet my Auntie Nirmala, who I hadn't seen since my parents' divorce. But there was a girl, Felicia. She was black and very intelligent. She had a giant book on mythology that she let me read. I remember being frustrated that half of the book was devoted to Greek mythology. They had a myth that linked Scotland to Egypt or some such concoction. I wish I could say things worked out in a romanticized fashion. I thought Felicia was very pretty, very intelligent, and we had a lot in common. Sometimes we would watch these Hallmark Channel specials from Jason and the Argonauts and that kind of thing. I wish that I could have spent many months there peacefully working on myself. Instead, I found myself strapped to a hospital bed, screaming incoherently and pleading desperately to the social worker. Those were the best and worst days of my life, when my passion ran highest.
To my two wonderful moms. Mom, my best friend, thank you for saving my life and not giving up on me when you were doing CPR to save me when I was 16. We've been through a lot together. I wish I could have protected you better when I was a child, because then maybe you wouldn't be hurting so bad from the years of beatings you had to take to protect me and to provide for me. We also had a lot of good fun times together, like running around the house, looking for all my hair clips and seeing who collected more. Oh, and our tea parties. I don't need to say more on that. LOL.
I know.
I love you more than I love you, Mom, and I can't thank you enough for everything you do for me every day. And thank you for watching my fur babies during the day so I can do better for myself and work through the healing journey I'm on. Kathy, you're my second mom, best friend, and also my protector. Thank you for being there for my mom and showing her true love. Thank you for showing Jacob and me the real meaning of family. Thanks for everything you've been teaching me through all these years. Hey, I'm thinking about how to change brakes on a truck. We had good times doing that. And thank you for helping me find my love for art. Thank you for all the things you buy me and the trips to Taylor Falls. Thank you for being that person I know I can go to when I'm feeling my weakest. Someday I hope to be able to provide for you guys like you have for me. I want to thank you both for loving me and supporting me through my healing journey I'm on.
I told my therapist I love them. That's when I knew it might be time to go. They taught me to have confidence in my skills. When most were afraid of my thoughts and wanted to bring me to the psych ward, they taught me to have control over them, or that I had control over them, or at least a relationship with them that was healthy. They taught me that standing barefoot on one foot in the early spring snow might be weird, but it served a purpose for me. That swearing at my storylines and stomping around the neighborhood could be just considered a disturbing psychotic experience, or just a way of letting go of anger. That throwing plastic plates against walls and wishing they would break might just mean they were made of plastic on purpose. That pacing was a coping skill. That loud sighs reduce tension. That music helps me connect. That smoking way too much might be an early warning sign, or just a way of coping. And that the storylines in my head may be diagnosed as schizophrenia, but are actually the result of a creative imagination that manages to help me have the skills to live a full life. That validation they gave me was a full range of things, encompassing all emotions: laughter, sadness, anger, grief, pain, the list goes on. I can hold them in whatever way works for me. My list of oddities and hospital stays does not negate my ability to have a full and meaningful life. Thank you for that.
Prospect High School, class of 1981, graduation day. I always thought I would finish high school, go on to college, get a good job as an engineer. Still to this day, I cannot leave what I learned in high school. Even though I did not finish college or get the job I wanted, I still have all my experiences in grades K through 12. Mike.
In the 10th grade, I had a girlfriend. She was from the Philippines. She used to call me on the phone a lot. Sometimes I would go over to her house and hang out and watch movies. Her name was Meshi. We got along very well. We both loved each other. Sometimes we would go out walking around the creek. I met her in science class and soon became her boyfriend. She was my favorite girlfriend in high school. Sometimes I was kind of shy around her, but she didn't mind. I thought I saw her on the bus years later when we grew apart. I didn't say anything to her. I think she had a kid with her.
If I could do my very least, I could accomplish everything. The sun, the rain, the snow, the wind. I can't do it alone, but I can have discipline. Order is just an idea that starts with a mistake. The truth is not far off.
Hell is waiting in the ER for 7 hours. I'm in a hallway where everybody can see me. No privacy. Everybody knows my business. They call me crazy. They give me something to eat while I lay on a gurney. Something is wrong here. Every bed in the mental health ER is full. I wait for 7 hours and then get transferred to a non-ER area for people with mental health problems. I see kids in here with mental health problems. I am surprised to see children struggling with mental health issues. I feel bad, but yet happy that they are getting help. But part of me wants to yell and shake them for running around and making noise. I can't get any sleep between problems and children. After 2 days of waiting area, with all the noise, a nurse wakes me up at 3 a.m. to tell me that I have a bed for me at the Fairview University Senior Center Mental Health Unit. But they don't move me until 10 a.m. What an ass of a nurse to wake me up to have to wait another 7 hours. It's quiet. Most people here are depressed and other mental health issues.
Why am I so afraid of silence? Always needing sound to distract me. A TV, a radio, or my iPhone on 24 hours a day. Because most of my past abuse happened at night, it makes it difficult to go to sleep. Images, memories, things I don't want to remember push at me. Sound blocks them out and acts as a barrier. It strikes out at the memories and keeps them at bay, night after night after night. Finally, around 3 a.m., with the TV on as a distraction, I can stop being so vigilant and rest, close my eyes and sleep. But some nights I wake up screaming, my roommate asking if I'm okay. Flooded with shame and embarrassment, I say, yes, I am. Yes, I am okay.
I used to be comforted by more noise. The drama of sound took me away from myself. I never wanted to be comfortable. I wanted the loud noise of people who I let get in my way, so I could distract myself by chasing my tail and have something to blame it on. Now, I can sit by myself. I can walk in a room, sit down, and have nothing to say. Or I can open my mouth, say something, and not have to get a reaction.
I went on a road trip. I went on with a few friends to Fargo. We were going to camping and attend a co-worker's wedding. It was not my idea to get dressed for a wedding in a tent. My friend had a suitcase that was large and full of shoes. She said it held every shoe that she owned. I wondered why she brought all those shoes to a camping and a wedding trip. Anyway, on the way home, we were driving about 3 hours when we saw a sign that said Canada, 10 miles. But we lived in Minneapolis. We were going the wrong way, except when we were driving. It took us about 5 hours before we finally made it home.
When I was a teenager, I used to go to my friend's house and hang out all night. In the fall, we would make big fires in the backyard and hang out and party till 2 a.m. We used to listen to death metal and punk rock. It was one of the greatest times of my life. I really miss Rob and his brother Derek and all the other guys who would come over. I'd fall asleep on their mini sofa and would wake up at noon. Sometimes I would order pizza. And sometimes we would jam in the basement. I would play bass, Rob would play electric guitar, and Robbie's father would play drums. Sometimes our friend Corey, who was the better guitarist, would also play.
This is another story by Tony. I got my first apartment when I was a graduate student at The Ohio State University during the summer of 1969. I had spent the previous year in a graduate dorm where I met my friends Bernie, John, and Don. We decided to share an apartment that summer. Bernie was an art student and a few years older than the rest of us. John was studying history, and Don was a PhD fellowship student in industrial psychology. I had received a PhD fellowship in English literature, but my grades were going downhill fast. Instead of concentrating on my coursework, I spent most of my time hanging out with John and Don. John was the most adventurous of us. He went around knocking on the doors of women's dorms trying to get a date. Don and I were more cautious, but went along because we admired John's bravado.
A person who's changed my life would be my son, Jacob. He showed me so much unconditional love and has shown me how to be strong. Seeing your child survive 5 brain surgeries really changes you. It showed me how I have to push through any pain and hurt or struggles I have because the outcome will be a positive one. My son is also my protector, my life, my best friend, and my heartbeat. He is what keeps me going. When my ex-husband was trying to kill me, Jacob stepped in and started hitting and kicking him and screaming, "Leave my mommy and baby Sissy alone." Then he ran out the door screaming for the neighbors to help his mommy. Without him doing that, I honestly don't think I'd be here today. He did all that, and he was only 4 years old. That day scarred us for life. He lost his baby sister, Josie, that awful day, and lost a part of his mom. But someday he will get that part of me back. My son has taught me to look at this tough world we live in differently. He's taught me not to hold on to hatred. And he's still teaching me to value my self-worth when I should be doing that for him. Jacob is one man I can trust 100%. Honestly, the only man of right now. So with that being said, thank you, Jacob. Love, Mom.
We dated for 4 years. She never left my side. Even though I was seeing a psychiatrist and in and out of hospitals and on medication, she cared for me. I did my best to care for her. We had both learned to love in each other.
I have lived in my head for so long that I have not been aware of my body's physical boundaries. I know I have been through so much physical and mental pain that I have blocked out any awareness of my body. Lately, when I pass a mirror and see my reflection, I am startled by what I see. In my mind's eye, I am a slender 18-year-old, and not the image I see in the mirror. Mom, Grandma, and great-grandma have looked like what I see, so genetics must play a part. Also, the multitude of psychotropic medications I've taken over the years have contributed, and a need to comfort myself with food, especially a preference for Mountain Dew, have also been part of the journey. As a society, we are bombarded with messages telling us we need to change how we look, how we dress, how we feel about ourselves. Take this drug, drink this drink, eat this food, and all will solve your issues. Now, as I start to really see my body, I hope I can learn to view it with empathy and compassion for what it has been through. Sometimes I feel it's too late. Sometimes I feel it's too late to love all of me. Maybe, with the help of my therapist, I can.
Poetry is a passion of mine. I've tried to suppress it foolishly thinking, that writing something other than poetry would make me appear cool and sexy. But just when I thought I'd gone over to the dark side, so to speak, when I convinced myself that I'd be better off writing an elaborate fantasy novel or a screenplay, I found myself thinking about poets like Tracy K. Smith, the former poet laureate who writes about social issues and is a keen observer of the human condition. Or I started to think about another writer, Kazim Ali, a poet who writes intimately about being Muslim and queer. Or I think about the poet Adam Wolfond, who is a non-speaking autistic. He writes about autism and movement and language. He finds a way to talk to the world of being trapped and unseen in a way that seems relatable and profound to me. It was poetry that kept me sane the year I spent in the lockdown facility in San Marcos, Texas. I wrote poems to escape the pain of not being able to talk to my family or even see them. I wrote poems to cope with the abuse I experienced from the staff and my peers in the facility. I wrote poems. Why? Because it's a passion of mine.
Great. So speaking of poetry, at the end of our sessions, after everyone has written a few stories, we have them go back and find lines that still really speak to them or that they really like or hold a picture that is meaningful to them. And then each member offers up a line or two, and we create a group poem on the spot. And this is one of those that we made together. So I'll wait for you all to stand, whoever can stand. Okay, group poem. Yeah. All right. Can you start now? Okay.
You have something very special inside of you that is begging to get out and unleash itself upon the world.
Do not give it up. Keep reading, keep writing, especially articles, or whatever else suits your fancy.
The wind was blowing so gently, I was a target back then.
I used to write down my dreams and bring them to my therapist. Now I speak more slowly and breathe more deeply.
The smell of worms after a warm rain on a Minneapolis afternoon. I see burnt umber roofing tiles that are the color of my childhood.
I live life to the fullest, and things are good.
I remember playing dress up with Joyce.
I long for a west-facing window.
Just know you are a survivor.
soon as you tell someone you're mentally ill, the whole picture changes.
Du är mental. Hello,
No matter how good you are, they always come back to your mental illness.
Why don't you look into my eyes? Why don't you touch me? Why don't you take my hands? Because you treat me with stigma, which is an enigma, and a mark of disgrace. Throw that label away, and look at my face.
I have bipolar. I'm not bipolar.
I have schizophrenia. I am not a schizophrenic.
Second-class citizen, stereotype, pariah.
Don't you want to get off all those drugs?
My stigma is an enigma, or is it just shame?
Don't treat me differently.
I'm not learning disabled, I learn differently.
It's hard to understand you when you treat me this way.
Why don't you look into my eyes? Why don't you touch me? Why don't you take my hands? Because you treat me with a stigma, which is an enigma, and a mark of disgrace. Throw that label away, and look at my face.
Stigma. Stigma is like the Incredible Hulk, all big and green and mindless. It rages and thrashes about, trying to clobber all who have mental health issues. What would I say to it? We just want to be recognized as people, human beings, not our illness. We have dreams, hopes, and even loves.
If I could do it over again, I would, maybe. After pre-business didn't work out at the U of M because of undiagnosed mental illness, I should have stayed there and continued in my education. Instead, I joined the Air Force in an attempt to run away from my mental health problems. I did not think I knew enough about social works to go into that at the time, and my advisor seemed to think also. But also probably I would not have had enough structure for me at the time. Anyway, I did graduate with a degree in social services 23 years later at age 42, and I did work in the field for over a decade.
If I could relive a time in my life, I would relive the time that I broke my car. And my brother almost died in that accident, and I lost a really nice car. My brother had an airline skull fracture and doesn't remember 3 days before and 3 days after. He doesn't remember the accident at all. And I could sit in the front seat or drive by about 4 months after. And it's so cool after that day, whenever I smell the combination of gas, dirt, and oil.
My letter to Dad. Dear Dad, how are you doing in heaven? I bet you are on a boat or houseboat, sailing and having a great time. I love you and I miss you so much. I wish you were here because I miss our daughter, Dad and daughter talks. I wish you were here so we could chat about everything. I miss going to see you at Fort Snelling. No one wants to go with me. I hate going alone. I hope to go to Fort Snelling before it snows.
He once got me by stapling a roll of toilet paper so it shredded when I pulled it. Then came a time when I got him and got him good. At Halloween, I bought a bunch, like 500 tiny plastic spiders. In the middle of the night, I woke and set them up in the bathtub like they were coming out of the drain. He woke before me and went to shower. I was woken by the screams emanating from the bathroom. High pitched, and unlike the man who Matthew betrayed himself as. In his haste to leave the bathtub, he tore the shower curtain down. Kind of like that. His roommate and I laughed so hard at his reaction, I'll never forget him standing hyperventilating. He was an awful person, but despite the abuse, the jokes were fun. They ended after I pulled that one. I feel like in the end I won. I beat him, that's what I'm saying.
Changed my life. I was driving to the doctor's office during the day. I was coming off that highway exit ramp. I turned right and stopped on France Avenue. I was trying to look both ways and turn left onto the hospital exit, but as I was stopping to look both ways, this lady hit me from behind. I got rear-ended. I got a severe body and neck whiplash. I must have been in shock. Then I heard a cop or a fireman talk to me. Then they asked me if I wanted to go in an ambulance, and I went across the street to the hospital and went to the ER. I was in the ER for a long time, but I complained about having back and hip pain. I changed my life by becoming a new me. Sorry. I am more talkative and not shy again. I seem smarter than ever. I am more assertive towards people and not angry anymore. I'm a new me, and I love the person who I am today for the better. I have had so many miracles that I never was in the hospital with brain bleed or a coma, and I'm a lucky lady.
Just deal with it.
What an awful thing to say. My friend Lori would say,
Just be happy.
how can you be happy when you have bipolar, generalized anxiety, panic attacks, social anxiety? It's a wonder I listen to music and actually sing it. Performing music in front of people never bothers me unless somebody is being very judgmental, though sometimes I don't care. I can't believe how anyone can say,
Just deal with it.
I have kids to raise, 4 at home and 1 in North Branch, Minnesota.
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
To be honest, no you haven't. You don't understand where I'm at to even know, and I can't make that happen.
We've all been there.
If you think you have, give me a map to get back to normal.
We've all been there.
Can you hear me where you are? If we've all been there, why are only some of us judged for it?
We've all been there.
I remember 1983. I remember a thunderstorm in 1983.
Thunderstorm 1983.
When I lived at home, my parents would come for the weekend. We knew it was bad when the gas burns on Saturday. The wind was way bad and we could see the trees breaking.
Trees breaking.
Just off, there were straight line winds.
Straight line winds.
Joey, my boyfriend at the time, was on the phone with his sister, who lived about a mile down the road, and the phone went dead.
Phone went dead.
So after the storm was over, we had to work to their house. It was a mess.
Yes.
We were stopped by the police.
Police.
Joey had to show his idea to prove he actually lived in that neighborhood. His sister was fine, but they had lost a couple of trees in the yard.
Trees lost.
We then decided to walk through the neighborhood again along the area where several bungalows were destroyed.
Bungalows destroyed.
I remember there was one day I was sitting there all the time, but there was still a cuckoo clock.
Cuckoo clock.
It was just so surreal
Surreal.
to see all this distraction and now go cuckoo clock go off.
Cuckoo. Cuckoo.
We got a big party the night before.
Party 94.
And we had so many people on the deck that it fell. No one just heard. We were all too drunk. Well, when my mom and dad came home, me and my brother were down. My dad called my friend Chelsea and asked if the deck collapsed because of the storm or if there were too many people on it.
Too many people on it.
And well, I couldn't lie to my father.
Goodbye.
But it's good that the deck fell on us because my mom was going to have some her classmates over the next couple of weekends. So we joked that it was good that the deck fell when there were young drunks on
The deck fell on us.
it. Instead of a bunch of old people.
Old people.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Halt! Turn! Germany, 1984. Foot concern base.
Sergeant Smith and Specialist Whitman.
Turn! Left, right, left, right, left, right.
I told you, Specialist Whitman, it won't work. The converter box will work. No, I tell you, I've been in the Army 30 years and it will not work. Okay, Sergeant Smith, who was the honor graduate of 32 Hotel School? Who fixed the transmitter when I arrived here? Who's given you good communication checks every week? Who found a way to repair the antenna without a winch? It was me, Specialist Whitman. So I'm telling you, this converter box will work. What if you're wrong? Have you ever used a converter box before? Yes, and it worked. So what do you have to lose? Okay, I'll try it. But if it doesn't work, it's on you. And it worked. I found my inner child a couple of weeks ago. Then I found another, then another, and another, and another. I now have, at last count, 387,542 inner children. It wouldn't bother me, except about 10,000 of them, I would estimate, are really rambunctious. I feel like I have a bunch of squirrels running around inside me. It's aggravating. When I walk down the street, I try to settle them down, but they refuse. So I shake my arms and legs as much as I can and make weird noises. People probably think I'm mentally ill, which I am, but for other reasons. A couple of days ago, I saw Zeus, the chief god of the Greeks, walking around northeast Minneapolis. Yo, Jupes, I called out. Jupiter is Zeus's Roman name. How come I have all these inner children? Some of them are really driving me nuts. Yeah, that must be annoying. Too bad, though. We need them for the pillars. What do you mean? When the sky cracks, you will start birthing them in a hurry out of your head. They will stand on each other's shoulders in a stack. When the sky cracks, it won't fall because by that time, your millions of inner children will be holding it up. You'll be known as the man who birthed the pillars. You'll go down in history. But I don't want to go down in history. I just want to be normal. I'm already mentally ill. How much more do I need on my plate? Oh, you'll do, said Zeus. I care more about the sky falling than you. Hang in there. The future of all Earth depends on you. Even the penguins in Antarctica are pulling for you. Oh, Jupes, I said. I didn't feel better. A rambunctious inner child kicked my left eyeball. Oh, the things we do for Earth, I thought. trip that I would like to take is a cruise, one without many children. I think I would go by myself. I would do everything that you do on a cruise: swim, eat, sunbathe, relax, and just enjoy it.
Stigma. The sound of the word makes me sick. I wonder about other people and how they think about themselves. Do we always need to point out about others just because they do something different, look a different way, react in a different fashion, speak in a certain way that gives others so much attention? There are so many ways to describe stigma. Stigma is so dark, like the biggest black hole you could ever fall into. Stigma is very old, older than we can imagine. Stigma can rip every inch of your soul out into the universe, clenching its claws into your body. The aftermath of stigma can ruin a person's life. I'm one to know this, since my family doesn't understand, nor do friends. Society is learning, but we have so far to go. Police and others need to be educated.
Laundry list of things I'm doing right to manage my bipolar type symptoms.
1.
Getting enough sleep.
2.
Managing my caffeine intake.
3.
Regular check-in with my therapist monthly when I'm doing okay. Every 2 weeks when I have an elevated mood.
4.
Not isolating at home and getting out and doing things.
5.
Trying to keep a functioning support system.
6.
Staying cool in summer and not too much sunlight.
7.
Getting some exercise to manage those brain chemicals, but not too much.
8.
Taking my meds as prescribed because, to quote my psychiatrist, mania may have its perks, but psychosis does not.
9.
Since I once jumped off a bridge when I was off my meds, I always take my meds as prescribed, despite the really annoying side effects, and also stay away from bridges.
Advice. What advice would I give to people struggling with mental health? The first thing I would tell them is to take their meds. The second and nearly equally important thing would be to come to Vail, to join a community of people in a supportive environment, to make friends and volunteer your time and energy, to learn what recovery and hope is all about.
Why don't you look into my eyes? Why don't you touch me? Why don't you take my hands? Because you treat me with stigma, which is an enigma and a mark of disgrace. Throw that label away and look at my face. We are us, individual, dynamic, unique, capable, sensitive, loving, courageous, bold, worth it.
Just to end Hawkins a little bit here, Annie's really beautifully explained the idea of a group poem, which our group as well, every week we would end by going back through our writing of the day and picking out a line or two that really, really resonated for us. And today we decided that we wanted to do that in fellowship with you. So as you entered the theater, there were people that had strips of paper and they asked if you would like to be involved. And so what we propose doing is having anybody who would like to be involved in helping create this group poem right now spontaneously, to have you stand up and we're going to have the Vail folks come and get microphones. All of the lines on the papers that you hold in your hands are written by the artists behind me. So these are their words, and these were part of group poems that we created. So if you get a tap on your shoulder, they're gonna put a microphone in front of your face and just really nice and loudly, let's hear these beautiful words. You want to start, Mindy, maybe up there?
Sometimes I don't always show respect for my family, but they are good people.
Floating, floating, floating down.
She's not too strict about it because she uses caffeine herself.
I missed her gentle and patient ways.
I'm sensitive. I was in tears.
The most sweetest little girl.
I am grateful that I experienced such freedom.
Something funny in the play.
I could smell it in my sleep on the Davenport.
I'm feeling fine now that I'm in therapy.
And learn what recovery and hope is all about.
There is nothing to catch up to.
Less is not always better than more.
I will go to warm countries.
Like a slow duck on opening day.
Until I did a good parachute landing fall and became earthborn once more.
We went to Snuppy's Roadshow.
I threw the biggest fit in the store because I wanted to wear pantyhose like my mother.
Let's give it maybe a few more. You just pass those microphones around.
I gazed skyward, forever transformed with the first glimpse of eternity.
It was all good, even the job.
Focusing on positive things and ways to live a productive life.
My birth weight was 11 pounds. Ice cream from heaven.
I'm pretty good at solving puzzles.
And Miss Mendel plays friends more than they will ever know.
Made from scratch.
There is me and my ugly sister, Pat.
Stella, you want to bring us home?
I ask only that you listen.
Nice.
Perfect ending.
All right, thanks to everybody who helped make this happen. And I do want to make space now to open up the floor. If you have comments, if you have questions about how they did what they did, comments about things that touched you or sparked something in your brain or your heart that you would like to share. It can be hard to talk in a group, I get it. They just did it, and now you can do it. You want to raise your hand with a comment or a question? No, Paul, no questions. No.
Well, did you have a favorite prompt?
Oh, did you have a favorite prompt? Anyone want to answer that? Considering.
I don't remember all the prompts that we did.
That's true, we did a lot.
If you think of one, raise your hand. I'll come to them. Any other thoughts or questions? Yeah, right here.
We'll come back.
I'll come to you.
Where did you find your courage first?
Where did you find your courage first? That's a really good question.
Believe it or not, I never spoke until I came to Vail Place with these people around me. Got history theater and wrote what was going on inside of my brain and had it read it, not had to, but I read it to other people. I found my voice, I found my story, I found my courage and ability to tell you my experience.
I didn't realize until I came to Vail Place, and I was here about 10 years till. Some people call it find your courage, but I found that my courage was lost, and that's one reason I came to a mental illness, was to regain my courage.
I have to regain my courage every day because the world is scary and I'm not always sure how people are going to react to things. And even tonight, when I read this piece, I was panicking and just in the worst overthinking mode, some of the worst overthinking I've been in a long time. And I finally came to the conclusion, like I wrote this piece, people are here to see it, not judgmental, some people told me that, and I went through with it because at the end of the day you have to be courageous because the alternative is to be shut down or just let life take control of you. So.
I love to write. I'm a musician and I do write some of my own stuff, but the reason I wanted to speak on stigma especially is because there's a lot of it, and I want to get people educated all over about mental health so that we don't have stigma as much.
Honestly, solidarity. Sharing the stage with a bunch of people who have similar experiences, and that actually kind of buoys me up too. And that I wrote these words, and I don't want anyone else to speak up for me. So.
Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to add a little piece for myself. I was homeless before I came to Vail, and they taught me into going into the shelter. It was like the end of November, and I was carrying everything I owned on my back. And they got me housing assistance, and it's 13 years ago, and Vail is my safe place, when I never had a safe place before. And it's a place where I know I can go, and nobody's gonna judge me or expect anything from me. It's just a place that I can go and be me. And that's what I get the most out of it. And then our band, the Renovators or Remnants or whatever you want to call us, we do a pretty good job of busting stigma. We've played the state fair 3 times, and it's been very rewarding along the way. But to me, that's what Vail is, and it's my safe place.
I guess what I think courage comes every day, just living in solidarity, and also like you guys all out here and in Vail Place. I agree. Like reading my piece that I read tonight was really terrifying, and I can remember like the plastic plates, I threw them all over Vail Place, and I wanted them to smash, and Eric looks at me and he goes, "They're just plastic, they made them for you." That's good, somebody made something. So I just think this place is really special, and History Theater has been really special to me too, and just having, it takes courage. I don't think I've ever lived without courage, because my whole life has been, I'm just kind of a fighter like that, but having people understand my worst place and still be there for me and not judge me is a great, great thing to have. And that's what I've gotten here.
Any other thoughts or questions? Yeah, I see right at the back.
I think it was the gentleman who was talking about bipolar, and one of the things he was talking about was managing caffeine. And I remember a friend of mine who is a litigation attorney who lives with mental illness. She was very, very disappointed when Panera waved the white flag on charged lemonade. And so just, all of us managing our caffeine and kind of, because it's a drug and it affects us just like all our other psychotropic medications.
Yeah, it's really great to have those. I'll just speak for myself and say I had so many points of connection with the things that are said on stage tonight. I imagine a lot of you did too. And to hear that specific example is a really great one. So thank you for sharing that. Anything else folks want to bring up? Yeah, I see over there.
I'd like to know what the performers want to do tomorrow morning that will make your life better.
Something you want to do tomorrow morning will make your life better? Anyone want to speak? Someone said go to Vail. That's what Patty said.
Wake up.
Yeah. Anything else folks want to add to that? Go for a walk. Nice. Yeah.
Hopefully I can wake up early enough to go on a walk before my therapy group.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, Brittany.
What I really like to do, speaking on caffeine, is I'd like to have a cup of coffee and drive the staff crazy.
That's good to end on.
Anything else from you all that you want to share with the group? Okay, well, thank you all for being here. I want to point out before we go, I was realizing, I didn't say this before the show, there are people on stage who have been with the program from the very beginning, and there are people on stage for whom it is their very first time being on stage. And so we have a great range of experience, a great range of background and experience with our group. But I just want to sort of, from the depth of my heart, tell you all, I live in awe of your ability to get up on the stage and share stuff that is, in my estimation, really difficult to share. I feel really privileged to hear your words, to see you year after year. I look forward to it. And would you please give them all a huge round of applause?